Hello and welcome. Today I want to show you something. Do you know how you can make a tree on your own with simple soft clay, air clay? And you can have a result like this. Okay, perhaps this video is now interesting for you, and yeah, I hope you stay tuned. I will show you now the main things for my cover. It's not always easy for me to also deliver the translations of my videos in English, but I try to make it in time for my crafty friends, of course. If something is not filmed in English, please try the automatic translation from YouTube. It's not always perfect and sometimes gives funny translations, but that's still better than nothing. By the way, it's so easy to make a tree. Soft clay is wonderful to shape with your hands. You simply take your Hearty or soft clay and form long, narrow strips, or if you want, sausages that get narrower towards to the top. Then you put them on top of each other or underneath each other and twist them a little bit. At some point, with a little patience, it can grow into a tree. It's not difficult at all, just try it. And if you don't like it, then you can put everything together and start new. That's no problem. Here I start painting my Hearty with black gesso. I have some difficulties with my gesso because I can't get into the gaps very well with my brush. If you perhaps have black Hearty, that would be great. Then use better black Hearty and not the white one. I know that you can buy Hearty in black and also in other colors, but I only have it in white. With black Hearty you save yourself the very tedious coloring. In some places it almost drove me to despair because small branches and twigs broke off. Another option would be to use black gesso spray or acrylic spray. But I don't have everything here in my craft room, and so I use what I have and somehow manage with it. You don't always have to buy everything new. Just have a look in your craft cupboard or your drawers and you will be amazed what you can find there, and sometimes you find something useful. Yeah. Here I show you now my paper which I want to have in my background. I used 250 gram paper. I had previously cleaned my brush and stamps on it. That's why something red shimmers through. Cool effects, I can use it, I like it. I also colored the cardstock with black acrylic paint, but now I want to bring structure to my paper. I use a stencil from 13 Arts and now I take Glossy gel. I used to use modeling paste or structure paste, but now I have discovered Glossy gel for myself. Actually, I only used it as an adhesive, but you can achieve such great effects with it. The gel dries clear, allowing the underlying color to show through. If you want to change the color of the rest afterwards, that's no problem. Normally, you can wipe the color off the gel, of course the dry gel, and the color underneath remains visible. That's really fun. But here I tried something else. That was a sudden inspiration. I don't plan something like that, but that's what comes to mind at that moment. I don't usually like glitter very much. I hate to use it at the craft table or near my camera. That's why I didn't film it. I use my glitter that is at least 20 years old. It is a miracle that I found it. No, that is a joke, of course. I could find it immediately because I have a little box, and in my box is my glitter, and the little box is really in the back of my drawer. I don't use it very often. Yeah. My idea is that you sprinkle the glitter on top of the glossy gel to create the illusion that there is a tree top that shimmers beautifully. I then put this idea into practice outside on my balcony, and luckily I didn't have any leftover glitter on my table. And now you can see the result. And it is a very shimmer, a nice shimmer on my paper. Of course, the glossy gel also has a nice shimmer, but I like the result. This is now volume paste. It is dry. I made it before, and now I want to color it because I have a plan with my volume paste. I know that you can cut it. You can use scissors, but you can also use your dies. And that is interesting. And I don't have it now for a long time, the paste, because it is a rather new product by Stamperia. But I want to use now my leaves. I have dies which are beautiful, and I want to use the leaves behind my tree. I just put small thin pieces on foil with a spatula and then let them dry. I just want to try smaller pieces of volume paste first because I don't know the product that well yet, and I don't want to waste so much of it. I took green acrylic paint, and now I paint my prepared pieces. That was just too light for me, and then I thought it would be a good idea to have some plants behind my tree which are a little bit darker. And finally I mixed a little bit of black also to the green. I think volume paste is a really great paste because you can color it. You can then use it with your spatula and use it on stencil or on your project directly. But in this case, I had two pieces in white because I really didn't know that I would use it for this project, and it is very easy to paint it afterwards. And I think it is now better to do it because I see now my tree, I see my paper in the background, and so you have now the right color range. I have now a little bit left over of my color, and I think it is a good idea to use my paint also in my tree, and so I don't waste anything. And this is now my paper with my background and my tree, and when I put the tree on my paper it looks like this. And I think it is not a bad idea, and I hope I can glue everything on my paper, but it is not the time now for gluing it on my paper. But of course I want to show you my next steps, and this is now my result for now, and I think it is a nice tree and a nice background. But of course I want a little bit more. I will show you in a few minutes what I mean, but now I want to show you my soft clay things I made on my own, and this is something for my tree, and there are perhaps things I can glue on my tree, but they are still white, and of course I have to color it, I know it. And I don't know if I want to use everything I show you now. I made also little animals, and yeah, this should be now a bird, but I am not sure if I want to use it. I don't know if I like it really. But this is a little rabbit, and I like this rabbit. It is not bad. I don't have a mold or something like that. I made it with my hands, and it is a do-it-yourself thing. And here is also, what do you call it? A snail? I hope it is the right name. Yes, now I am sure the name is snail. Okay. And here is a little mushroom. Yeah. Also little leaves and plants, and I'm not sure what I will use. Yes, you know, sometimes things are just too much, and I don't want to distract too much from the tree. I just told you that I want to do more. The background for a forest scene is just too empty for me. And now I want to use a stencil from 13 Arts, and I want to play a little bit with it. Here you can see some branches, and I would like to place them in the border area. I like stencils from 13 Arts very much because they are not so thin, and in my eyes they are very useful. And yeah, you can arrange now the stencil on your paper, and now you can see what I will do with it. And I'm using now again my spatula and my soft gel and glossy gel, not soft gel, glossy gel is the name. And I use the smaller branches and also the bigger ones, and I like it because I know that it has a very nice shimmer when it is dry, but it dries clear. Yeah, and there's also something that I really like with structure paste and with some other modeling paste. It is not so easy to clean the stencil, and as I said before, I like my stencils very much, and I want to use these stencils as often as I can use it. Yes, and it is very easy to clean your stencil when you immediately wash it with water and a little bit soap. And then they are really clear again, and there is nothing to see on your stencil from the glossy gel. And I couldn't believe it because I thought it is something like a glue. And when you are working with mixed media things, you know, you glue more thicker things on your paper or your album. With glossy gel, you can also glue metal things on your album, but it is so useful for stenciling, and I think you should try this. I know it looks now white, and perhaps it is a little bit distracting because I don't want to have white things in the background, but believe me, it dries clear. And now I thought about my no, it is not a glitter, it is something velvet, it is a powder, and I will now put it on my glossy gel, and I will show you now what I will do. Can you see now the powder on my glossy gel? It is this velvet powder, and it is from Doodlebug, yeah. And it is, I think it is chocolate brown. And I use it now in the background because I think brown leaves and brown things behind are okay. And I only sprinkle a little bit with my fingertips on the glossy gel. I know my powder will dry with the glossy gel together. It will not resolve itself. At the moment, I can tap it off a little bit because the glossy gel is still white and not dry. But afterwards, it will have a wonderful feeling. The glossy gel will be clear and smooth. In contrast, the areas with the powder are like velvet. It really does feel like velvet. I've tried this before with a white powder from this brand, and I know it works and I like it very much. Of course, you can use it also similar to embossing powder on the surface, but I only wanted to sprinkle some areas with it and not the entire surface. I haven't had the brown powder that long. So far, I've only had the white powder. I really enjoyed using this white powder as snow for Christmas projects or winter projects. It doesn't always have to be snow paste. Then I bought brown powder and blue. The blue one is for maritime things. I actually wanted to use the orange I actually wanted to use the orange powder for autumn projects. But to be honest, I didn't dare to use the very intensive color in the background for my project. Now I have carefully arranged my parts. Of course, my clay parts are still not colored, they are still white, and yeah, now they look a little bit strange, I know. But in the future they are colored, and which will mean that they fit better to the background and also to the tree. But this is what it could look like now. In the background, you can see the little die cuts, the leaves, which are made with volume paste, and they were colored with green and a little bit black. And also my branches, which I prepared with glossy gel and the velvet powder, are doing quite well, I think. I don't like the bird in the tree. I think the bird has probably fly out again. Okay, I know, a little play on words, but perhaps another bird will take its place. We will see, but I don't prepare anything with my soft clay, but perhaps I will do something. Perhaps an owl, I don't know. I forgot to show you my volume paste die cuts. Here you can see quite well what way look after. I cut them with my die cutting machine, and I used my switch, and the results are not bad. As you know, I always use, not always, but I try to use very often packaging boxes or packaging paper, and this was a DIN A3 envelope, and I cut it, and here you have now the measurements. I hope you can read it, but I can tell you now the height is 25 centimeters and the width is 17 centimeters and the spine 5 centimeters. And now you can see that I really glued my die cuts on my paper, and I used my special liquid glue. It is a liquid glue from Funkelkram, an online shop in Germany, and I like this glue very much because you can glue many things with it. Between the leaves is of course enough space for my tree, because I want to glue my tree also on the paper, but not now. First of all, I want to make my cover, and I need different cardstock. And here you can see that I had underneath my 250 GSM cardstock another cardstock. It is packaging cardstock, and I glued the paper on it. But still the tree is not glued on the paper, it is only arrangement, so I can see that everything fits together. And of course I have also think about it, how I will embellish my pages inside my cover. I wrapped and glued the whole cover with tissue paper. I used liquid glue for this. Normally I always use the tissue paper for the complete cover, but I didn't do that here because I want to use designer paper. In this case I take a piece of paper from a pad that is 12 by 12 inches. It's from Action, it's called Mystery. I like the color and the pattern very much. It is excellent as a background, and another advantage is that the paper gives the cover stability. My cover is quite big, and so I couldn't cut two big parts out of the paper. It is 12 by 12 inch, but that doesn't matter because I will definitely add decorations or pockets at this point, and I haven't planned anything yet, but that will be fine. And now you can see a circle that is a metal circle, and I want to use it for my closure. I will glue it underneath my first page. Yeah. I will hide it under my background paper, and I will use, here you can see my finger, and on this side underneath the paper is my metal circle. And the plan is, from the back side there will be a ribbon, and on the ribbon I will glue a magnet, and I hope that I can close my album with this magnet and it will hold on my metal. Yeah, I can show you later, because I think later, I mean perhaps in another video, how I will fix my closure problem because it is an idea, but I never tried it before. And of course, I don't know if it will work, but we will see in future. And I have another plan with my closure, but I can't tell you now. It is a little secret, but you will see it when you watch my videos. I will do more, and I have many plans in my head, but yeah, I need time, and it is not so easy to film everything. And now I want to show you my plans for my second page. This is a special paper. It is from Action. It is watercolor paper in black. And I used a DIN A4 embossing folder from Tonic Studios, and I cut it, and now I think it is the right size for my page. And of course my paper was black, and on the paper I used this, I must look now how it is called, opal polish. I hope I pronounce it right. It is a Summer Sky opal polish from Cosmic Shimmer. And of course you can see it is blue. Yes, I use it. I really use it on this paper because this is a very special polish thing. Yes, you can use it on white and also on black paper. And when you use it on white paper, you have a blue color. It is shiny, it is a little bit like a metal color. But on my black paper, it looks like a golden paper. Here is now, it is, of course it is not white, but you can see it is blue on my light brown paper. And I like the paint because you have two paints with one thing. On white it is blue and on black it is gold. And you have a very nice shimmer on your paper. I know that I can't use, or not use, but you can't see every detail on the cover because I want to use this thing I made with modeling paste and with a mold. I think it is a mold by Stamperia. And yeah, I will color this thing, and it is a very flexible thing, and I want to glue it on my golden paper behind. Yeah, I want to have something around my structure because I thought it was a little bit too small for the big page, and I want to have something like a frame around. And this is now a nice frame. I can tell you now a little tip or a little trick. When you use modeling paste in your mold, you can, it is a thin mold, not the big one, no? You can put behind your modeling paste cheesecloth, and when you have, when it is dry, a very nice possibility to get it out your mold. And when you have a little surrounding around your mold, and you can use it also for your junk journal, of course, it is a nice effect. But when I made this thing, I didn't know the thing with the cheesecloth. Yeah, and here I show you now, here is the embossed area, and there's also a die for it. You can cut this frame, and normally I would cut a circle or something like that from the paper when I would use it for a card or something like that, so you have more made with your paper. But in this case I want to use the whole paper because it gives stability to your album, and I want to have something strong underneath my modeling paste. I just wanted to say that you get more use out of a paper if you cut something out of a embossed paper behind the object, and then just stick the next layer of another paper over it. You can't see what's behind it. No one notices if something is missing. But here I want to use it the full page, because I want to have stability for my album. And this thing, this paper, I will also use. I think I will use it inside or perhaps for another project. We will see. But I must say I really like my paint, but I have to use it because there's always the danger that it will dry, and yeah, it is better to use it for your paper because you pay money for it, and yeah, I don't want to have it dry in my drawer. There is a small sponge with it, and it there is something written here, and it says on the back that you should clean it with soap water after use. And I did it because I always clean my sponges and my brushes after I used it, and I let it dry on air because I don't want it to get moldy. For this time I will end the video, but I will continue soon. I need some time for this. It is a lot of work to film everything and then to cut it, and afterwards I have to do the translation in English because I first, of course, make my videos in German. I'm not a native speaker, as you know, in English. But I really like to do it for you because I know that there are crafty friends who can't speak German and they don't understand me when I'm talking German, and I hope my English is good enough for you and you can understand what I want to say. You can be curious what else I plan to do with my album, and I can tell you, if you don't want to miss anything, please subscribe to my channel. It would make me very happy, and it is always a great pleasure for me when you write a little comment, and perhaps you also want to like my video. I wish you a wonderful day, stay creative, and I say bye for now.